Hello, everyone. Welcome to the official first podcast of the Sports Scoop. We're all very excited. As you guys know from previous videos, I'm Kian. Rest of you
I'm
introduce
Charlie.
yourself.
I'm
Charlie.
Zach.
And I'm Zach. And we have one missing member, Suraj. He's not here, but hopefully he'll be on another one. So today we are doing grades, not necessarily grades, but the NFL draft. We're going to be discussing the picks. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy. So let's just get right into it.
Be sure to like, comment, and
Yeah.
subscribe, and maybe share if you enjoyed that.
Okay. Pick number 1, Joe Burrow going to the Bengals. Pretty expected pick. Heisman winner. Charlie, what do you think?
I think the Bengals needed a QB, so I think this was a great draft for them.
Yeah. Charlie, what do you think?
I think it was the right pick. I don't think
Yeah.
they could have gone anywhere else.
Yeah, I mean, the quarterback position was a gaping hole. I mean, they have incredible receivers in Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins now recently drafted, and A.J. Green, hopefully if he's healthy. I think Joe Burrow is going to have a lot of weapons there at the Bengals, and he's a great quarterback, best quarterback in the class, so I think he'll fit great there. All right, next pick. Chase Young to the Redskins, seen as the best player in this class. Stolen, do you guys think at number 2? Do you think the Bengals should have taken him? What do you guys think about this pick? Charlie, you go first.
I do not think the Bengals should have taken him because they needed Joe Burrow much more.
Yeah, right.
Chase Young to the Redskins fits in there. He'll play well there.
I mean, they just add another dominant defensive line player already to their Montez Sweat they drafted last year, Matt Ioannidis. I mean, their defensive line is going to be incredible. So
The
can't wait to
defensive
see.
line is already one of the best in the league, in my
Yeah.
opinion. It's gonna improve on with
with Chase Young. Yeah, he's a beast of a player. So we'll see how he does there. All right, pick number 3, Jeffery Okudah to the Lions. So I'm going to start by talking. I think that the Lions should have traded down this pick, maybe for the Dolphins, maybe for the Chargers, and they could have got more value for this pick because nobody was going to take Jeff Okudah in the next 3 picks. The Giants weren't going to. The Chargers and the Dolphins weren't going to. So I think if they traded down this pick, they would have got much more value for it. But, I mean, he's an incredible coverage cornerback. He'll lock down the receiver across from him. So I think it's a good pick, but I think they could have got more value for it. Charlie, what do you think?
Yeah, definitely a great player. This is the right player for them. I agree with you. They probably could have taken him later in the draft.
Right.
But the right player for the team.
Yeah, right. Charlie, Zach, what do you think?
I think that they could have chosen maybe a better player and maybe saved him for later in the draft, or maybe, as you said, trade down maybe to trade him then to get more value. So I agree with that.
Yeah. I mean, he's an incredible corner, and I think he's going to lock down, especially trading Darius Slay and getting Desmond Trufant. He's probably going to get a lot of snaps. Hopefully as their number 1 corner, and he's going to have to match up against Devante Adams, Adam Thielen, all of those players in that division. So we'll see how he matches up against them, and I think he'll do very well. All right, pick number 4, me and Charlie's team, the Giants. We knew they were going to take offensive line, not necessarily this offensive lineman. Charlie, what do you think?
I think it was a very interesting pick.
Right.
I think Andrew Thomas is a very he could go either way. I think he's a really safe pick, though, and I think that's all New York was looking for.
Yeah.
They wanted someone to protect the now second-year quarterback in Jones and someone where they can get the running game going with Barkley.
Yeah, right.
So I think Andrew Thomas will give that to them this year.
Right.
I don't know why you said that the Giants are on my team.
Right, Zach. Yeah, sorry. I
don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But I don't think that was a smart first decision to pick a lineman. Honestly, I know that they needed it because their offensive line has been struggling over the past few years. But I think that with their recent secondary, their secondary hasn't been as strong as it used to be. Right, so I think they should have taken either a cornerback, a safety, maybe a defensive lineman, but I don't think that was the strongest pick to take.
Right. I mean, if say the Lions had traded down, they could have stole Jeff Okudah. I think that would have surprised a lot of people. But I think O-line was the safest pick. I think Saquon, we've shown he can produce in terrible offensive linemen. And now if they get an offensive lineman here, especially a tackle, very important offensive lineman, and Thomas is a very good run blocking offensive lineman, that can change how the Giants play. The Saquon can produce so much more if he has a better offensive line in front of him. So I think it's a safe pick. I think, like you said, Charlie, he is the play now type of player the Giants need there. While like Tristan Wirfs and Makai Becton, they kind of need to develop, and then they can be very good players, Austin Jackson as well. But I think, yeah, you're right. It's a safe now, good pick that they can know will start and be solid for them. Okay, now to the 5th overall pick. Probably one of the, if not, like these next 2 picks are the most like question picks going into the draft. Charlie, what do you think? Tua Tagovailoa to the Dolphins.
I think it's a very good pick because the Dolphins starting quarterback right now is an aging Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Right.
And Tua is easily the number 2, if not the number 1 quarterback in the class. Mm-hmm. His injury that past year sidelined him for a while, but he's getting healthy now, and I think he's a really talented player.
Yeah. See, I think a lot of people
really help the Dolphins.
Right. I think he's a great quarterback. I think he fits their scheme. I think he's going to play well with Devante Parker. Injuries. I think if he stayed healthy and produced the way he did at Alabama, he could have been the number 1 overall pick or the best quarterback in this class. But I think injuries, definitely hit him very hard. And that's something that I think that'll decide his career. If he gets injured early in the season, like that's going to be a huge decider in how his career goes. I think if he can stay healthy, yeah, definitely. I think he's better than Justin Herbert. I think this is a better pick for the Dolphins, but I think a lot of people thought the Dolphins would go safe and take Justin Herbert, but they obviously didn't. And I think it'll pay off. What about you, Zach?
I think if he stays healthy, he can be a very dominant player.
Right.
I hope he doesn't turn out to be like Robin Griffith, who was again very dominant, but he did get hurt a lot, and that ended up being a downfall.
Right.
He did get hurt a few times in college, and that wasn't the greatest. That wasn't the greatest.
Yeah.
I think if he stays healthy, he could be one of the most dominant players in the league.
Right. And I think with just his rushing skills, and I think they're going to be able to use him very well. Okay, now 6th overall pick. Chargers take Justin Herbert. I like this. I mean, I think they had to do this. I think this was very questioned. They could have taken Isaiah Simmons here at linebacker, even though they ended up taking Kenneth Murray later in the 1st round. I think it's a good pick. I mean, Justin Herbert is a good quarterback. Solid quarterback. He has a strong arm. The only question is a lot of people don't think he's going to be starting over Tyrod Taylor, and I think they're going to wait for him to develop. What do you guys think on this pick? Zach, what do you think? Or, sorry, Charlie, what do you think?
No, Zach, go for it.
Or Zach, you go for it.
I'm good. Charlie, you can go. It's okay.
All right. I think that the Chargers are in need of a quarterback, especially after getting rid of Rivers, because Tyrod Taylor is not a franchise quarterback, not even close. Unfortunately for Herbert, I do not think he will be the starter going into this season unless Taylor injury sidelines him, because Tyrod Taylor was able to take the Bills to the playoffs a couple years back. So I think they'll try to get something like that with a much more talented team than the Bills had. They've got Keenan Allen, Mike Williams at receiver. That's a really talented receiving core. Yeah. And with Eckler in the backfield, I think they could do a lot this year. So I don't know how early Herbert's going to be playing, but I do think Herbert could develop into a solid quarterback.
Yeah, I think he's a questionable quarterback. I think the ideal situation for him is Tyrod Taylor gets injured midseason. They're not doing that well. He wins a couple games, plays well, and then secures that starting position. Then going into next year, he becomes like a solid quarterback and becomes that franchise quarterback that the Chargers need. Zach, what do you think?
No, I completely agree with you guys. The Chargers do need a quarterback, especially after getting rid of Rivers, who was, in my opinion, past his prime. So they did need a quarterback to start rebuilding. Tyrod Taylor, as Charlie Lee said, is not a franchise quarterback. He's good. He's good. Don't get me wrong, but he's not the one who's going to lead him to a championship.
Yeah, I think we're all in agree with that statement. Okay, next pick. Sorry, 1 second. Oh, whoops. Number 7 overall. 7 overall. Derrick Brown to the Panthers. This was a questionable pick because I thought they were going to take Isaiah Simmons. I think he's a more effective player, but again, Derrick Brown is a beast. He's huge, blocks up pass lanes, rushes, sacks the quarterback, gets hits on the quarterback. I think this is a great pick. I think their D-line wasn't great. I think they had one of the most one of the most pass heavy like against defensive lines. Like they had the most yards against them in terms of rushing and passing. But yeah, I think this is a great player. I think personally one of the second best D linemen in the class behind Chase Young, and I think he's gonna immediately be an impact and be even potential for defensive player or rookie of the year. Charlie, what do you think?
I think that a lot of people were surprised that they went with Derek Brown, as you said, Keen.
Right.
Isaiah Simmons was a heavy favorite at this pick, especially after the Giants passed up on him.
Right.
But I think that Brown, he's a force to be reckoned with in the middle. He's a very dominant player in both the pass rush and the run stopping. So I think he's a very good player. He's the right pick for them. And after losing Kuechly, a lot of people thought Simmons was the way to go, but I guess the Panthers thought differently.
Zach, what do you think? Zach's always the last person. He kind of has to say the same things. Sorry, Zach, what do you think?
So, not gonna lie, I was supposed to study this a little bit more, but I kind of fell asleep. So, well, we can move on. It's fine.
Okay. All right. Next pick.
As much time talking on each topic because we don't want an hour-long video.
Okay, Isaiah Simmons to the Cardinals. I'm just gonna steal. This is a steal. He could have gone top 3. This is a steal. He is an incredible linebacker coverage and insane speed. Ran an incredible combine. I saw a video of him. He beat Travis Etienne in a race. They're the Clemson running back, and he's like a hybrid safety. And I remember they asked him in the combine, "What position do you play?" And he just said defense, and that is completely what he does. He can play everywhere. He can even play some nickel cornerback. He can play safety. He can play linebacker. He can play outside linebacker. He can even play some defensive end and get sacks. I wouldn't even doubt that he wouldn't be able to get sacks. I think he's a beast, the best linebacker in this class, and is going to be incredible for the Cardinals, and I think they're really happy to get him. So, Charlie, what do you think?
Simmons is great. I think the role they'll be using him at is definitely at linebacker, but for a team that doesn't necessarily need a linebacker, he could be playing anywhere else on the field. He can play your safety. He can be even like an outside linebacker for the pass rush. He's very, very quick in the inside, so he can play corner, safety, rush the quarterback, whatever you need him to do.
Right. Zach, you're muted. Oh, okay. Zach, what do you think?
I know. So I think that this is again a very, very very good steal because he could have, as you said, he could have gone before any of these other players. I think he could have gone first pick if was the first pick?
Joe Burrow. All right, so we'll move on. Next pick, C.J. Henderson to the Jaguars. So he's a very good corner. Some people were even arguing he's better than Jeffery Okudah, which I think is a little bit far, but he's an incredible corner. He's a really good coverage corner. The Jaguars trading away basically Saxonville and their defense that brought them to a playoff run. I think it's going to be tough for him because he's going to be their number one cornerback after trading Jalen Ramsey and A.J. Boyd, and I think he's going to have some problem, but I think he's up for the challenge and is definitely going to be able to cover some of these very talented receivers. But I think he might have a rocky start, but I think people can't doubt him because he's going to be that lockdown corner that they're going to need this year. Yeah. Charlie, what about you?
I think Henderson's definitely a step down from Okudah, and a lot of people did not have Henderson going this high in the draft.
Right.
I didn't have him going this high. I think he could have been mid to late first round pick, and I think they took him a little early because there were still a bunch of guys on the board that they could have taken to be either a better position fit or just higher true talent. But he is a very good player, and he'll fit in well.
Right.
Jacksonville.
Zach, anything to add on?
No, I just agree with you guys mostly.
Yeah.
I also agree he could have gone later. There were a bunch of other guys who could have gone before him who are better in my preference. Okay. But I think the Jaguars had an okay choice of pick. Like he is as I said, he's an astounding player. Very, very good defensive player.
Yeah. Okay.
I hope Jaden edits this out.
Yeah. All right.
editing?
Next. No.
Is he
No. 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 Next.
editing this?
No. Next. Next.
All right, moving on.
Moving on. You guys didn't hear
If
that.
you
All
guys
right.
think C.J. Henderson was a good pick, hit the
Yeah.
like button.
Yeah, hit the like button. Also, guys, mid plug, hit subscribe, hit the like button always, as usual. Okay, next pick. Jedrick Wills to the Browns, who another player who could have gone a lot higher. I think I had the Giants taking him here at number 4. I think he's the best offensive lineman, exterior and interior lineman in the class. He's incredible, a beast. And a force to be reckoned with. And I think the Browns stole him here and just further improved their offensive line after signing Jack Conklin. So their tackles are going to be very, very well established. Charlie, what do you think?
I think Wills is a good pick. I think he could have gone, again, number 4 to the Giants. Right. But Cleveland got a good player out of Wills. I think it's up to him and the people they put around him to see how well he does in these first couple years.
Yeah. I think his talent, how well he does is going to be based off the production of Nick Chubb and the production of Baker Mayfield, depending on how many hits they take, how many sacks he takes, rushing yards. I think that's what offensive linemen, they just want to be a beast and just not let anything get by them, which I think for all offensive linemen is obviously a goal. But I think for rookies, they really need to be able to protect their quarterback because they need to gain trust with the veteran players on the team. Okay. Anything to add, Zach?
Yeah. I think that the Browns did need an offensive lineman because, again, they also have been struggling in the offensive lineman field over the past couple of years. But Nick Chubb, although he is amazing, he does, as any running back, needs a better offensive line.
Right. I agree with that also. And I think he's just like Saquon. If he gets more offensive linemen, he can produce a lot at a much higher rate. Okay, next pick. Makai Becton to the Jets. I mean, if you've ever seen this guy, he is gigantic. 6'7" and I don't know, some insane weight. He is I
think he's a 300-pounder.
Yeah. Probably even heavier. He is a beast. But he's one of those players that the Jets, I think he'll start, obviously he will start, but I think they're going to his prime is not going to be in his first year, obviously, but I think he's going to need to develop. I think he's definitely going to need to develop. He does get some penalties, and I think his size, even though it's really good to be huge as an offensive lineman, it also does cause for some penalties to be called if you're going up against someone who's much smaller, face masks or just grabbing the helmet or holding. But I think it's a good pick. I think the Jets got a really good offensive lineman, and I think this pick, I think everybody predicted. So I think it was a good pick, and I think they needed an offensive lineman, especially since Le'Veon Bell didn't produce really at all last season. Charlie, what do you think?
I actually disagree. I think this was not the correct pick for the Jets. They're lacking at the receiving position. They just traded away Robbie Anderson, who was their number 1 receiver,
right.
And Jerry Jeudy is still on the board. Mm-hmm. Even if they don't like Jeudy, CeeDee Lamb is also there.
And Henry Ruggs.
I think Jeudy would have been a very good pick. I think Jeudy could have gone easily before this, but Jeudy would have been an excellent pick for the Jets to take. Don't get me wrong, Makai Becton is a beast. He's huge. He'll fit in well with their O-line, but with Jeudy on the board, I'm just not sure it's the right pick.
Right. Okay. Zach, anything to add, or can we go next side?
I kind of agree with Charlie on this one because the Jets really do need some receivers after trading away Robbie Anderson, who was a beast. Personally, I don't think they should have traded him. But, again, he is a good pick. He's ginormous, which will really help out the offensive line. But I think they are really in need of a receiver, and I think they should have taken that over an offensive lineman.
Right. Okay. You see, you guys kind of changed it. I agree with that, but I think it's still a solid pick. Okay, next pick. This Henry Ruggs, first receiver off the board to the Raiders. And this is Jerry Jeudy and CeeDee Lamb are still on the board for the Raiders, and I think a lot of people thought if at this pick there was those receivers, they would take them. But then you also have to take into account they have Tyreek Hill in their division. And he as you can tell, speed demon, and also McCole Hardman, both incredibly fast receivers, small receivers, but can just burn any corner. And I think Henry Ruggs is that player, and he's gonna be a toy for them. They're gonna love to use him and put him in different positions for him to succeed. And I think Derek Carr is gonna love to have him as his receiver. I think he's gonna be their Tyreek Hill, and I think that's what they're trying to combat Tyreek Hill. And I think he's just gonna be someone who they're gonna take shots with down the field. He's gonna be a speedy player and just gonna take shots with. I think Tyrell Williams is their catch mid yardage range, and then he's going to be their deep receiver who they're going to trust on to get touchdowns when they're not as far up the field. Charlie, what do you think?
So the Raiders
Zach,
had both Jeudy and CeeDee Lamb fall onto their laps, but they went with Henry Ruggs. I mean, I don't really know about this. Of course, Jeudy and Lamb are such great polished route runners, while Ruggs is just all speed. He has a great upside, but he is a raw receiver. He has the greatest chance of busting out of the top 3 wideouts, and it's not good news for the number 12 overall pick.
Okay, wow, that's a hot take. All right, Charlie, what do you think?
All right, I actually don't think – I think this is a very underrated pick.
Yeah.
Because while Jeudy and Lamb are both, in my opinion, and in a lot of people's opinions, better pure receivers than
Right.
Ruggs, I think since the Raiders have a potential workhorse running back in Josh Jacobs,
Yeah, definitely
who could
established
be
himself.
carrying the ball on both first and second downs. Ruggs will be a really great player to get behind the safeties on play-action plays or just surprising deep balls that defense does not see coming.
Yeah. Even
So
screens. Throw a screen to him and he'll just blast down the field incredibly fast.
Yeah.
Okay,
As
next
I
pick.
said, he a lot of speed.
So Tristan Wirfs to the Bucks. I think they had to take this pick. I mean, to keep Tom Brady happy, you need to protect him. And he's getting older. He's declining. Didn't have the best of season last year. Didn't play well against the Titans. I think you need to protect him. And I think offensive line is a player. They have great some solid offensive linemen in Ali Marpet, who actually who lived in our town and went to our high school. But yeah, I think it's a good pick. They need to protect Tom Brady, and I think this pick was needed. I think he's going to protect Tom Brady very well. And, some people were saying receiver here, but you can't go receiver when you have 2 of the best receivers last year in Evans and Godwin. So I think it's a good pick. Protect Tom Brady at all costs is kind of their motto right now. Charlie, what do you think?
I think you said it all right there. I think this is a good pick for the Bucks. They probably could have gone to the line maybe with Javon Kinlaw, but if they're looking at the offense to protect Brady, they couldn't have gone better.
Right. Okay. I completely agree with that. All right, Zach, you have anything to add, or we all say it?
I think that the Buccaneers stole Tristan Wirfs. The Giants were very close to taking him. Dave Gettleman actually ranked him higher than Andrew Thomas.
Right. Yeah.
Coaches did disagree, so they didn't take him. But I think it's a steal. Plus, it's a perfect pick because they need a big upgrade at right tackle to protect Tom Brady.
Right. Okay. Next pick, Javon Kinlaw to the Niners. This was another controversial pick because this pick they got from the Colts, trading DeForest Buckner. So they're basically betting on Javon Kinlaw to be as productive as Buckner or even better, which I think is definitely possible. And I think more than likely, Javon Kinlaw is a beast, and he's going to be a great player. But I think it is a bit of a risk they basically traded Kinlaw for Buckner, and Buckner's a more established player. So it's just to save money. But I think if it pays off, it'll be an incredible pick. And I kind of had this as an underrated pick. I think he's going to play very well. Zach, do you have anything to say?
So the 49ers were desperate to trade down after Henry Ruggs was chosen at number 12. They moved once, but they tried to do it again, but they ran out of time. So one might think that they might have settled for better receivers such as CeeDee Lamb or Jeudy, but they opted instead for Javon Kinlaw. So Javon Kinlaw does have an injury history, but he is very talented and could end up being a great replacement for DeForest.
Right, I agree with that.
Yeah. I don't love the pick, especially with, as we said, Jeudy on the board or CeeDee Lamb. I know that the Niners were looking much more closely at Ruggs than any of the other receivers, but they already have one of the best, if not the best D-lines in the
I
league.
think the best, definitely the best.
With Nick Bosa, D Ford, you've got Arik Armstead. None of them per se interior linemen, but I don't know that this was the right pick, even trading Buckner, because Buckner was a beast in the inside.
I mean, I think it just improves their defensive line. I think their defensive line was the best part of their team last year. I think by a lot. They won them games, and I mean, having Defensive Player of the Year, Nick Bosa, who's a beast, and adding Javon King, I think is just going to make that defense a lot stronger. And I think if you're a defensive lineman and you're in this draft, you want to go to the Niners. I mean, that's just a great defensive lineman coach and a great defensive line to work with and learn off. So I think it's a good pick. Okay, next pick. Here we go. Jerry Jeudy finally goes, and he goes to the Broncos, and they stack up their receiving core. I mean, Courtland Sutton, incredible year last year, very good year last year. And now they have Jeudy. And I think they're trying to give Allen, weapons to use. And I think it's a sign of what they're trying to do for the future. They believe in their quarterback, and now they're just trying to build around him and give him receivers. I think it's a good pick. I think it's a steal. I mean, Jeudy, arguably the best receiver in this whole class, and this receiver class was stacked. One of the most stacked receivers class I've ever seen. Yeah. Zach, what do you think?
I also agree. I think he is a steal. Many teams could have taken him earlier. I think he is probably one of, if not the best wide receiver in the entire draft. His football IQ is off the charts, and he's a great route runner, and he'll be an excellent block.
Right.
I just think he's a great pick, honestly. I think there are a lot of teams could have taken him earlier, but, the Broncos really got a steal here.
Yeah. All right, Charlie, what do you think?
Yeah, I think going into this draft, the Broncos were not expecting Jerry Jeudy to fall into their laps, which is exactly what he did. And I do not think, per se, they were planning to take a receiver with this pick because they have other spots that needed filling.
I know they wanted C.J. Henderson, but couldn't get him.
With Drew Lock under center, he didn't have a great year last year, but he was also hurt. So I think that this could be a great pick, especially adding KJ Hamler later on in the draft. They're just surrounding Lock with weapons to try to almost match the Chiefs' firepower here. And I think they did it in the best way possible.
Right. Okay. Next pick. AJ Terrell to the Falcons. I'm going to be honest, I hate this pick. I don't like this pick one bit at all. I think he's a good corner. I think he's like fifth best corner in the class. But I think with corners like Christian Fulton, Jalen Johnson, even Damon Arnett, and other corners that are very good, and I think this has been said a lot. I personally think Jeff Okudah and C.J. Henderson, then there's a very big drop in terms of corners. AJ Terrell was a good corner in Clemson until the championship game where he got bodied the whole game by Jamar Chase, who is a sophomore. I mean, I know a lot of people are like, yeah, well, it's one game, but I mean, you got to be able to match up against the best receivers, especially if you're going to the NFL where there are more established receivers than Jamar Chase. And I think the Falcons took him way too high. I think he would have dropped into the second round. But, I mean, they got a corner. He's a good corner, and he could definitely prove people wrong and play well, but I don't like the pick for now. Charlie, what do you think?
I think that AJ Terrell is a very good corner, and the Falcons needed a corner. They took the guy who they thought best fit their program and who they thought was going to be a rock from day one. I think that a lot of people really took him down after the championship game. But he was playing against Jamar Chase, who is the potential number one pick next year. Jamar Chase, I think, will develop into one of the better receivers in the league. So you can't beat him up too much for the one game that he lost to the number one receiver in college football.
Okay. Zach, what do you think? Anything to add?
Yeah, I think he was underrated by the media because of how poor he played in the national championship versus LSU. However, the Falcons needed to trade up in an attempt to keep up with the Buccaneers and Saints. Getting a player like Javon King would have been a nice piece to help them defend Tom Brady and Drew Brees.
But he was off the board, so.
What?
No. Yeah, he was off the board, so I think they had to improvise.
Yeah, I know. But getting a player like him would have been a nice piece. Terrell will help, but he won't be as impactful as Javon Kinlaw.
Right. Okay. I agree with that. Okay, next. Here, I mean, as a Giants fan, I was enraged by this pick. I mean, CeeDee Lamb, arguably one of the best receivers. I mean, depends on what people think. Him and Jerry Jeudy, even Henry Ruggs. He fell so much, and then goes to the already stacked receiving core in Dallas with Amari Cooper's proved to be one of the best receivers, and Michael Gallup, who is very good, and I think is going to become a very good receiver. And I think he was very underrated last year. And just adding CeeDee Lamb, that's 3 receivers that will destroy teams. And I think he's going to be very good. The only problem I think he might have with this is that with those 2 good receivers, he might not be getting targeted as much. And I think he might have I personally think he's going to have an underwhelming season. And I think, but I mean, unless he proves me wrong. So, Zach, what do you think?
I think he doesn't feel much of a need for Dallas with Amari Cooper and Michael Gallup on the roster, right. But he is the best player available, and it allows the Cowboys to have flexibility with contracts at the position. Right, so it is a need this pick, given that Lamb could have gone as high as number 9 without any complaints.
Right. Yeah, I think that's a very, very good point. Okay. Charlie, what do you think?
Right. I think CeeDee Lamb, this is an absolute steal. The Cowboys did not need this player at receiver because, as you guys said, they have Amari Cooper and Michael Gallup, which was one of the better receiving duos in the league. But I think when a player this good drops this far, it's hard not to take him. And this CeeDee Lamb's put into both a good situation and a bad situation, playing for the Cowboys, who I think could be a playoff team this year. He's got Dak Prescott throwing to him, which is a better situation than if he had gone like a pick or 2 later to the Raiders with Carr or the Jaguars with Minshew. He's definitely got a better quarterback throwing to him, but he is behind 2 of the top receivers.
Yeah. So I think,
So I think it's up to him to make it a good situation for himself. It's up to him.
Yeah. And none of these receivers I see as slot receivers, which is the problem. I think they're both one-on-one players who will go up and get the ball. Yeah. Okay. Next pick. Austin Jackson, another offensive lineman, to the Dolphins. It's okay pick. It's an okay pick.
I mean, since Tua Tagovailoa, I don't know how to say his name.
Also, after this pick, we're gonna do a part 2. It's just the video is gonna get really long, so we don't want to bore. So after this pick, we're gonna end the video.
So I think Tua probably won't play until 2021 because of injuries. So the Dolphins have some time to make sure that they can retool their offensive line. Their blocking was so bad last year. So Austin Jackson will go a long way in helping matters. He's coming off a down year because he donated his bone marrow to his sister, which is actually really nice. He certainly would have been picked earlier if it wasn't for that. So I like the value Miami is getting.
I mean, I just
Austin
think
Jackson.
Sorry.
Definitely. I think he's a good pick for them. The Dolphins were definitely in need for an O-lineman. They made some big moves in free agency to help out their defense, but not as much as they could have done on the offensive end. So I think Austin Jackson was a very good pick for the Miami team.
Yeah. I mean, he's a young player. He's a young offensive lineman who needs to develop, and I think he might not even – they might bench him for the first year or first little bit because he's very young. He's, 20 going into NFL draft, which is incredibly young. So I think he's going to need to develop. But I think he has a very high ceiling and could become a very good player. Okay, guys, so we will be recording a part 2 either later today or tomorrow. we hope you guys enjoyed. Always make sure to subscribe, like, tell your friends about the channel. I'm also gonna link our TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, all of like our social media. If you guys want to follow us on there, we give updates on like when we're posting and stuff, important stuff like that. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching.
Yeah. And guys, make sure to comment down below video ideas, suggestions, what you guys want to see about the NFL, because we will try to do it for you.
Yeah.
And make sure if you want to see stuff other than the NFL, such as the NBA and MLB, anything, just comment it down below. Even cricket, we might.
All right, guys.
See. All right.
You guys hear from us at D Sports Scoop signing off.